Hello everybody, welcome back to another lovely dovely video. Tonight, as you can see from our setup, I'm doing a mobile stream, which is, I probably should have thought out where I'm gonna put my phone. There, that works. Alright, we're going to do a mobile stream, and we are going to be jumping right back into Apex Legends Pathfinder's quest. We are going to be in Chapter 6, Mirage, my best friend. This is obviously going to be covering Mirage's history and Mirage's, what he knows about Pathfinder. So, it has been a while, I know, because I've been playing games, and I don't know how this sounds. It probably sounds fine. So, without any further ado, I will be just reading through it. If there are any pictures at the end of the page, I will hold up the book so you guys can see it, so you guys aren't. Where's the gameplay? We're reading a book. It's story time. Also, welcome. We're gonna be reading Mirage's chapter, hopefully all the way through. If not, then. But I will say, I've read this one before, and it is a sad chapter at times, but it is very interesting, so I like it. Also, fun fact, right before this, I was playing Mirage and Apex, and I almost won a game, but I came in second place because I died, so, oh well. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get started. Pathfinder Memory Log Day 6. Sergeant First Class Anita Williams, more like Sergeant Best Class because she's the best. Bangalore was very helpful. I knew some information about the IMC, Interstellar Manufacturing Corporation, but it was mostly from people who didn't like them very much. I never really learned the other side of the story, how I know what Lifeline was talking about, how it's hard to see which side is good and which side is bad, because sometimes there isn't a clear answer. If it were up to me, I just want everyone to put their differences aside and get along. That way, everyone who needs help would get help. That's what I care about. I hope that was why I was created. It seems important, and it feels good to be needed for something important. And what's more important than helping people? Bangalore helped me learn about old IMC and Ares Division experiments in the Outlands that had goals to change for the future. It seems that my clue, the future of the Outlands, has to do with one of these goals. But I don't know which one. Was this to change the future of the Outlands in a good way? Or was this to change the future of the Outlands in a bad way? Bangalore didn't have an answer for me, but thanks that my best friend Mirage might. Mirage knows a lot about the conflicts in the Outlands, specifically Civil War, because his brothers were soldiers. I'm excited to learn more, so I'm off to the Paradise Lounge to meet him for a drink. Alright, and then we've got other things which aren't really too important, but clue box, transmission clues, Chevrex, Lifeline's parents' company, future of the Outlands, old experiments to change the future, Dr. Amelia, I still don't know how to say that name. Paquette, Watson's grandmother, a geologist, died mysteriously. The Event, Aleki, Gibraltar's grandfather, and Iris, Project Iris, created in 2654. Also, if anything's wrong, if the audio is kind of out of whack, you make sure to let me know so I can try to fix it. Anyways, let's get on. Elliot Witt, real name Elliot Witt, age 30, homeworld of Solace, tactical ability Psych Out, passive Now You See Me, ultimate ability Life of the Party. Mirage is the kind of guy who likes to stand out. The youngest of 4 brothers, he perfected the art of fooling around to get attention. The one thing he took seriously was hollow pilot technology, introduced to the illusion-creating tech by his engineer mother. He pored over the mechanisms and learned all he could about them, even when his brothers went MIA during the Civil War. Mirage and his mother continued to develop hollow devices, and the work brought them closer. While working as a bartender to make ends meet, Mirage heard amazing stories from his patrons about the Apex games and the wealth and glory that came with victory. As soon as both of these as good as both of these sounded, he knew he couldn't risk leaving his mother childless until she gave him a set of customized holo devices and told him to follow his dream. Mirage is now the life of the Apex games, outwitting opponents and charming audiences across the Outlands. What a guy. A tragic backstory, but a lovely man in the games. He was actually one of the core six people who came out of Apex Season 0. So, and then after this should be, I don't know, we still have other people. Anyways. Alright, interview transcript. Hey, hold on. You said Bangalore sent you to me? Wow, Bangalore, huh? Needing good old Mirage for some help? Makes sense, you know. I am quite the I'm quite the smart dude. So, what does she need? Not her, me. Oh no. I'm trying to find my creator. I know. We know. Everyone knows. Tin Can. Everyone knows Tin Can. Is this just what you do when you're not in the games? Yes, it's also what I do in the games. I'm always looking for my creator. That's why I joined the games. Why did you join the games? Me? Well, isn't it obvious? I joined to be the best, the fame, the glory, the money, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm doing a pretty great job of all three, if I don't say so myself. I'm just thinking about it. Let me move my light. So you guys can, well, partly so I can see. You guys have pretty good vision of me. What is this? How does that look? Look fine? Yeah, that looks fine. Okay. Now I can see. You do say it yourself. That fame is something else. It's something I always wanted. Even back during the Thunderdome days, when my brothers and I would go watch a match, those legends were amazing. I wanted to be just like them. Of course, some were locked up criminals forced to fight the IMC for their freedom, but there were a few that were real stars. Blisk, for one. I was lucky enough to see his last match before he left for the war. That was about 23 years ago, 2710. Wow, it's been a long time. The Apex Commissioner. I've heard others talk about Blisk. He sounds like a scary guy. And if you see him fight, he's even scarier. Only I got to meet him once. He came into my bar and sat in the corner by himself with a glass of something smooth. I wanted to say something, but I didn't. I wasn't always the hotshot guy I am today. Anyway, that was the last time I got to see the guy. My brothers used to give me a hard time because they both got to meet him only after the only match I didn't go to, because I broke my leg helping my mom with a project. I always helped her with anything she needed. That's the type of guy I am. Can you blame me? I'm a caring person. Some might say I'm a saint. Only kidding, sort of. Anyway, she always had projects from different contracts throughout the Outlands. I bet you were wondering where I got my smart and good looks from. I was. That would be my mom, Evelyn Witt. She's the smartest person I know, one of the best holo engineers in the entire frontier. That woman worked with the best from Kodai to the IMC. Sure, I bet you're thinking that the IMC aren't that great, unless you ask Bangalore. But when you've got to raise 4 kids of your own, you take any gig you can get. I think it's great. Where was your dad? The infamous Richard Witt? Nah, he wasn't really in the picture. I mean, he's been in a few pictures. I know what he looks like. I have met the guy, but he's not exactly the father type. I think he tried, but he spent most of his time trying to make a living. At least, that's what my mom told me. She used to tell me stories all the time, how he always had a new hit creation, a new big score. I'm pretty sure one time he even claimed to have invented bottled water. There was one that really stuck out to me. I guess I was turning about 14, really growing into my charm, and I knew the guy was on his way home after being on some sort of expedition. I think this was around the time that this father of mine was trying to be some sort of explorer or treasure hunter. He was really obsessed with that AMC Ares division that started doing some digs or something all throughout Solace. I bet Wraith knows about that stuff. I remember he had been gone for about 3 months, and my mom had promised he was going to come home for my birthday. And he didn't? Huh? Actually, he did. He came home, and it was great. It was great to see the guy, but nah, never mind. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I don't need to talk about my life. We're best friends. You can tell me. You love talking about your life. I like talking about myself, but my life? No, that's a horse of a different flavor. Wait, that's not right. Okay, fine. Just keep it between us. When my dad came home from my parties, he brought me all kinds of things. Gifts he got on his travels, but they weren't really things I was into. They weren't really things anyone was into. They were weird fruit from Samathi, a rock he had found in the mines of Gaia, that looked like a titan, and a scrap of paper with scribbles on it that he called art. I guess that's why I hate art. And before we continue, before I turn the page, we've got a, can you see that? No, you can't. Hold on. We've got a kind of a loading screen from the games and a family picture, and you can see little Elliot Witt there. So, there, you're back over there. Okay. Next page. You hate art? Not really, especially if it's of me. Big fan of my fan art, and I've seen them all. Those are gifts I understand, and gifts that understand me. The gifts my dad gave me felt like gifts from a stranger for a stranger. The guy didn't really know who I was, and the weirdest part was that I didn't mind. It didn't bother me, and that's why I remember that day. It was nice to see him, but I didn't have to see him. I had my brothers and I had my mom. I grew up. I wasn't the kid he knew when he left, assuming he knew me in the first place. Either way, I was fine with it. I spent a lot of time in my early teens helping my mom with their project. I wasn't doing it because I loved hollow engineering or anything, but I got paid just enough to feel like I had money to spend. And I'll tell you what, being a kid in school with money to spend made me feel like a regular a big business guy. I bet. But I did learn a thing or two from my mom. I wasn't too bad either. One could say I had a hand in creating my very own holotech suit and abilities. Of course, the only reason I was so good at this was because my mom was such a great teacher. She knew how to problem solve like no other, still does, on her good days. My dad didn't really understand that. He never really understood her passion for science and gadgets and all that junk. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he didn't love her or vice versa, the other way around, but just maybe sometimes you need more than love. I think love is enough. I could have guessed you'd say that. I've heard that before, and I'm not saying who's wrong and who's right. I just feel like I've experienced it one way, and that's all I need to know. It didn't work out for Richard. The poor guy tried, but he just didn't quite understand his own family. We moved on without him, and that's just how it was. And it sucked. I don't usually have the time to think back on it, so thanks for the refresher. You're welcome, friend. What was it you needed? Unless you came here to learn about me, which ain't a bad thing. I mean, who can blame you? I'm a legend, an open book. I have no problem talking about anything or anyone. Great. I want to know about the Outland Civil War. No thanks. I think we're done here. No, we're not. I still have to find my creator. Why do you care so much about someone you don't even know? Because I don't know them, and they created me, so how am I supposed to really know myself? Would you be the same person if you didn't know your creators? I would be nothing without my mom. Okay, but why the war? I think the reason I was created had something to do with the conflicts that took place in the Outlands. Well, I do know a thing or two or three about the conflicts. You see, Path, I lost all my brothers in the Civil War. Oh no, you're telling me. When the started leaving the Outlands back around 2715, all the territories and planets went full on chaotic. It was like Mom left home and the kids went wild. Ooh. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, whatever. Get out of here. Cringe. Bam. Oh, my camera. Anyways, sorry for that interruption. Where were we? All the planets went on full on chaotic. It was like Mom left home and the kids went wild. I'm sure many folks have their own opinions on the IMC. I know I do. But they did keep things somewhat sane. And after they all left, the fighting began. Solace was the last planet to join the fight, since it was the last planet the IMC left. But the rest of the Outlands officially started the Civil War when I was around 15. It was so bad too. I used to have friends on all these different planets. A buddy on Gaia, a girlfriend on Talos, another girlfriend on Talos, and a lot of good friends on Rafi. Bummer I'll never see them again. Why not? They're in the Fringe Worlds. Oh, AJ and Gibraltar mentioned them. The Fringe Worlds. AJ? She doesn't let me call her AJ. Lame. Yeah, I'm sure she's been there with the Frontier Corps. And the big guy probably had some friends on those worlds like Isla did. Solace was and is pretty much the central hub of the Outlands. People came from all over to see a match at the Thunderdome, or even a drop of pint right here at my bar. You know, this bar has been in the Witt family for generations. Though, of course, my dad didn't know how to run this place, nor did he want to, so he gave it to his brother, who was planning on selling it to my older brother, Roger, whose dream it was to run the place, but then he went missing. So eventually I bought it and kept the name he was going to give it, the Paradise Lounge. I love this place. It's a social place, and I'm a social guy. I always get along with everyone. I still do. Except Crypto, that pain in my... So why couldn't everyone get along? Not everything is thumbs up in friendship, you know? I don't. It's all about power and greed. That's pretty much what the Apex games are all about too. After the IMC abandoned us, each planet, territory, and town fought over who controlled everything from fuel outposts to farming land, and those disputes kicked off the Civil War. At the time, we shared resources based on the laws of the IMC. There were Solace properties on Gaia and people on Samathi who owned land on Talos. Everything was mixed up. But without the IMC to keep things together, those with the biggest guns and the most fighters took control. If you haven't noticed, Solace is a fairly dry planet, and that old Duchess River wasn't left the cleanest after the IMC polluted it, so the Solace City water treatment plant worked overtime. I would know. I did a few shifts there myself, not to brag, but I was a nighttime manager. That sounds like a brag. Okay, it's a brag. The fuel needed to keep the plant running was on Gaia, and the only way for Solace to get that fuel was to fight for it. Everyone knew I enlisted, including all three of my brothers. Did you not? Wait, everyone knew yeah, I read that right. Did you not because your parents wouldn't let you? That was Gibraltar's issue. Oh yeah, was it? So, the big guy just does whatever his parents tell him to, huh? Haha. No, he ran away from home instead. Oh. Yeah, that sounds about right for him, Mr. Self-proclaimed protector of the innocent. Oh, I read that wrong. It said everyone I knew enlisted, including all three of my brothers, and Mirage didn't enlist. My bad. God. Taking off my socks. Beat it. What? 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 Slow there, Leo. Hopefully. Okay. Protector of the innocent. I stayed home because I had my reasons. Let's just leave it at that. The point is, the war left my home quiet for the first time. That house was busy. There was always something going on. Roger, my older brother, he was the rock star of the family, and there wasn't a day that went by that didn't have him shredding his guitar as loud as he could. I joined him every now and then, but I only played piano, and I only knew one song. What song? It's the song my mom loves, a very old tune called The Inchworm. I wasn't very good at piano though, and wasn't exactly my brother's type of music anyway. It was still nice that he let me listen and feel included, unlike my other brothers, the twins, Ricky and Elon. Those guys were nothing but sports, sports, and more sports. They lived and breathed the Thunderdome and played everything from football to archery to pretty much every day. I was the youngest, and I didn't really fit in all the time, right? I didn't really fit in all the time. I know, right? Me, Mirage, not fitting in? I fit in with everyone, but not then. Nope. I wasn't very good at sports, I wasn't very good at music. The only thing I was actually good at was science-y, techie stuff with my mom. I always knew how to solve a problem. I'm a legend after all. If my brothers could see me now, they'd lose my minds. So what happened to them? That's the problem. We don't really know. All three were on the same dropship going for an attack near Gaia, and then they were struck by something. We're still unsure what it was. The Solace military was a mess. If it wasn't for the Syndicate, the rest of us probably wouldn't have survived. I remember the day we found out, though. Mom and I were working on a contract she had with Sarah's for some sort of holographic search beacon, I guess. I guess there had been a few accidents near the Cascade Mountains and they needed something new to help to call for help. So, of course, they reached out to me. Well, Ma, but me too. We were stuck on the visual aspect, which Ma and I usually butted heads on. I prefer something flashy, something decent to look at. I get her side, that it's not important to the functionality. The function of the thing. But that doesn't mean it has to be boring. And there's one thing you know about me. It's that I like to keep things interesting. Remember the holiday bash on my Mirage Voyage? And then it has a little picture to the side of his Mirage Voyage. Oh yeah. Alrighty. Do you remember about my Mirage Voyage? Yes. Remember how great it was? Yes. It was pretty great, right? Yes. Yeah, such a great time. See, that's what I'm talking about. It can serve a purpose and be good looking. It can serve a purpose and be good looking. And what did your mom think? Well, let's just say that she got the last laugh. The next morning, I went downstairs to the workshop where we did most of our work, and standing right there in front of me was my mom. And standing right there in front of me, next to my mom, was me. That's right, my mom took my advice and turned it up to 11. The search beacon we were working on was no longer just a holographic SOS sign, but a full, life-size version of the one and only Elliot Witt. Of course, it was just a prank. She reset it back to the normal sign after getting a good laugh in my face. Like your holograms. That's where it all started, of course. That's where it all started, period. Of course, she only did that one as a joke. That woman was always a fan of good old-fashioned practical jokes. The good old-fashioned practical joke. We reprogrammed the real beacon to be something a little bit more simple, but, like you pointed out, the holographic versions of me became my new toys. While Ma worked on her other projects, I continued to perfect my grams. I made them just like me all the way down to my perfect smile. Wink. Who are you winking to? The world. Because they deserve it. But unfortunately, although Ma and I had a nice laugh, the day ended with some suit from Solace military at our door. Not a general or even a soldier, just some suit. I think the guy worked on accounting or something. He just rang our bell and handed us a piece of paper and said, sorry. It said that the Solace transport vessel Crimson went down over Gaia, and that, although resources were too limited to verify, a loss of communication for over 72 hours made it clear enough to consider all soldiers MIA. Just like that, a no-name with a piece of paper told my mom that her 3 sons were dead. MIA doesn't mean dead. They weren't even going to look for them, so if they weren't dead, then they are now. Still to this day, no bodies have ever been found or any information. I've even put some money into searching, but other priorities came into play. Like being an Apex legend. Right, that. Losing her sons really broke my mom. Bothered me, obviously, but I think I focused a lot on my mom, so it was easier to forget. No, forget wasn't the right word. It was easier to avoid that sort of pain when you're spending the majority of your day making people laugh. That's what I did with my mom. What did you do? I was about 16. I did what I always do. I joked around. I remember it like it was a movie. Flashback. And that is where it goes to Made You Smile, a Mirage film. A story about how Mirage joked around. And this reads like a movie script. Okay. Exterior Cummings Court, Solace City, night. Smack dab at the end of the cul-de-sac sits the Witt family home with a crooked mailbox, a rusty old car, and dried up grass that matches the bright yellow paint that barely covers the exterior of his humble abode. Interior, Witt family home, kitchen, night. The kitchen is a mess, with a sticky puddle of maple syrup and honey on the counter, an empty brown spicy mustard container in the trash, a dirty mixing bowl splattered with the remains of a savory glaze, and a toppled container of cloves that hopefully did not all make it into the final concoction. Evelyn Witt grabs a tray of glazed pork chops and puts them in the oven. Evelyn Witt shouting, "Elliot, dinner will be ready soon." A snicker comes from the living room, but no response. "Elliot?" Evelyn follows the mischievous laughter. Interior of the living room, continuous. More snickering comes from the cupboard under the stairs. "Elliot, come on, seriously? You're 16, not 6. She opens the door with an aha, only to be met face to face with a Mirage hologram of her son, Elliot Witt. Mirage hologram. Wink. It smiles before it disappears. Evelyn Witt shouting gleefully, "Whoa, come on, Elliot, you son of a me. That's it, show yourself." Evelyn runs up the stairs to the second floor. Interior of the second floor hallway, continuous. She steps cautiously and quietly down the hallway towards Elliot's room, the very room he used to share with his twin brothers, Ricky and Elon. The door looks like it was taken off some kid's clubhouse with a "do not enter" warning carved into the wood at the top. Thud. Noise comes from the bedroom, but Evelyn is not so easily fooled this time. "Okay, we got another Mirage in here. Is that your trick, Elliot?" She grasps a hold of the doorknob and feels a beat-driven vibration. Either you're having a party for one in there, or there are 2 Mirages and they're having a party for 2. How's that for math? She laughs as she opens the door and springs inside to find... Interior of Elliot's bedroom, continuous. Not 1 but 2 Mirages doing what they think is breakdancing on the floor. Mirage hologram 1 says, "We're a little busy, Ma. Unless you think you've got a move in you that needs busting." Evelyn smiles at the 2 holograms and shakes her head. "No, not me, Ricky. Not at my age. Hey, Elon, don't forget to clean up your side of the room. And would you 2 play with Elliot once in a while? It would be nice if you included him." The 2 Mirages quickly disappear, leaving Evelyn staring into the empty room. Elliot off stage. "Mom?" Elliot, having overheard this conversation, steps out of hiding and joins his mom in the bedroom. Elliot says, "Hey, Ma, who are you talking to?" It takes a second, but Evelyn regains her focus on Elliot. Hey, no one. Remember when the twins got into breakdancing? It was so loud and obnoxious, but also kind of sweet. It's just nice to think about them. It's nice to be reminded of those moments. Yeah. Are you alright, though? Me? Yeah, I'm fine. Even better now that I found you. You know, I didn't give you those mirages so you could play jokes on me. Because of that, you're doing the dishes. Got it? Sure thing, Ma. Anything for you. Elliot tries to brush off what just happened, but part of him is a little concerned. Was that just a walk down on was that just a walk down memory lane or something else? Interior of living room next day. Elliot runs down the stairs to head outside, but stops when he sees his mom reading a book. Hey Ma, I'm heading out to play some ball with the guys. Sure thing, Elliot. Have fun. Usually this is something Elliot does with his brother Elon, but neither of them bring this up. Elliot's surprised by this. Do you need me to get anything on the way home? Evelyn stops reading and looks at Elliot. She says, I'm good. Do you need anything? I'm all good. There's a brief moment of awkwardness. Okay, see ya, Ma. Exterior of the Whit family home continues. Elliot walks outside and slowly closes the door behind him. Elliot says to himself, that was weird. I could have sworn she was going to bring up Elon. Nothing. Not even a smile. And then he has an idea. Interior of the living room, a few moments later, Evelyn finishes reading her book. Elliot comes walking in, acting like his normal goofball self. Hey, Ma. Elon and I are going to play some ball, if that's all right. Evelyn looks up to see Elliot, followed by his Mirage. She pauses for an uncertain minute, then smiles. She says, Of course, honey, of course. Just do me a favor and don't rip those shorts again like you did last time. They took too much effort to fix, and I've got a book to read. Yeah, don't worry, I won't. This time I'll win, unlike last time. Elon got 4 alley-oops. It was amazing. Evelyn smiles. Elliot leaves through the front door. Exterior of the Whit family home continues. Elliot closes the door and looks at his Mirage. Elliot says, proud and amazed, Huh. For the next few weeks, Elliot continues to fill the house with mirages that help spark conversations about his brothers. Interior of Roger's bedroom, week 1. Elliot is playing guitar with a Mirage set up to look like his older brother Roger. Evelyn walks by. Hey Ma, we're just jamming. She smiles. Interior of kitchen, week 2. Elliot attempts to cook Leviathan stew with his brother Ricky, who always had a knack for cooking. Evelyn comes home from work. Hey Ma, sorry. We kind of screwed up dinner, Elliot says, shouting. She smiles. Interior of bathroom, week 3. Elliot projects all 3 mirages fighting over the bathroom. Come on, get off me. He smirks, knowing that his mom is coming right around the corner. Elliot, are you okay? What's going on? She sees all 4 of her sons crammed into the bathroom, though the mirages are obviously holograms as each of them start flickering. She smiles, but it's short. Glad you're okay, honey. I have work to do. I'll be in my workshop. She leaves. Elliot's smile falls. Elliot says to his mirages, that was different. Why was that different? Oh no, I think I'm making it worse, he says, realizing. Elliot's mirages shrug their shoulders. I don't know. They disappear and Elliot takes a deep breath with a stern nod. Interior of workshop in the basement. Moments later, Elliot creeps down the stairs. Hey Ma, it's me. Elliot. I know, honey. What's going on? I'm almost done here, if you wanted to get dinner started. Evelyn types a few words into her computer while trading off sight lines between the monitor and her son. Elliot says, this is a this is a weird situation. I'm not sure how to say this, or if I should say this, or if I should call a doctor. Honey, you can say anything to me. Evelyn now gives her son her complete attention. I think I've done something bad to you. Something really bad. Honey, what are you talking about? Okay, so for the past few weeks, I've been pretending that Ricky, Elon, and Roger were still here. They're not. He takes a deep breath. They're gone and they're not coming back. Honey, I know. Do you? I think there is something wrong with you, and I don't know how to fix it. I think I made it worse, and I was just trying to make you happy. Evelyn stands up and walks to her son, who is almost shaking with fear and sadness. No, you didn't. I didn't make you happy? No, you silly boy. Of course you made me happy. You always make me happy. But, honey, I know what you're doing. I just had no idea you were doing it for me. I thought you were doing it for you. Elliot is bewildered. What? What do you mean? I guess I thought it made you happy to pretend like your brothers were still around. That's why I went along with it. I felt like it was the only way you felt comfortable about talking about them. And I thought it was the Elliot says I thought it was the only way I could get you to talk about them. I wasn't until you saw that it wasn't until you saw them in it wasn't until you saw them in my mirages. You thought they were twins, didn't you? She says, yes, I did. That night something did happen to me, but it wasn't for the first time, and it won't be for the last. But there's nothing for you to worry about, Elliot. I'm taking care of myself. I will be okay, I promise. You will? Yes, honey, and I will always be here for you. I'm sorry I got you worried last night. I'm sorry you thought I'm sorry I didn't want to talk about them. Of course I do. We're here for each other, and we don't need your mirages to talk about them. If you want to talk about the time Ricky made pork chops using practically nothing but cinnamon cloves, I'm happy to. If you want to talk about the time Elon accidentally got his head stuck in a pumpkin for 5 hours, I'm ready, and I've got pictures. If you want to talk about that time Roger tickled you until you went number 2 in your pants, Elliot says, interjecting, I don't remember that actually happening. I will drop everything in a heartbeat because I love talking about my sons. I love talking to you. I love you, Elliot. And you never have to try to make me happy because you being my son is enough to make me happy for the rest of my life. I'm your number 1 fan, no matter what. She holds out her arms, welcoming Elliot into them. He goes in for the hug. I love you too, Ma. Thanks for not getting mad at me. Oh, you're totally grounded for a month. Elliot pulls back in shock. What? That's totally unfair. Evelyn Witt says, laughing, I'm just kidding. Yeesh, you've got to learn to take a joke. She smiles. And did you? Did I what? Did you learn how to take a joke? Yeah, I think so. I definitely get my sense of humor from my mom. And she's right, she's doing great. We still talk about my brothers all the time, and it hurts to know that now the war's over, we still don't know what happened to them. I don't know if we will ever will. All the planets in Syndicate space may have signed the treaty 10 years ago, but that doesn't mean everyone's buddy-buddy. These planets here have never really gotten along, and this goes back like 100 years ago or so. Definitely before the crisis. I think even longer. It's all about power and greed and, I'm sorry, what crisis? Back in 2655, the energy crisis. Do you not know about that? I thought it was public knowledge, but maybe I knew about it because my mom kept talking about it. Or it could have been the end of it. Baby. I just knew about it because my mom kept talking about how it could have been the end of the Outlands as we know it. What happened? Let's see if I can remember. I remember something about someone named Peck who kept talking about how the Outlands was running out of energy. I think she believed that they had about 10 years left in them before everything went downhill. From what Mom said, no one believed Peck until it was too late. I guess all the planets in Syndicate space and the fringe worlds figured they had other things to worry about than some wild, crazy theories about what could happen in 10 years in the future. The sad part is that she was right. All those planets didn't do anything, and they paid for it, because after a few years, the crisis began to unfold. If you weren't a millionaire, then you wouldn't have had any chance of getting fuel for a ship, or even hot water for your 1 bedroom. My mom said that Solace had a very small reserve of energy, and it was practically gone until something happened that made that pretty much help things get back to more normal. I thought you said it would be the end of the Outlands. Yeah, that's what they thought. But something happened. This is what always intrigued my mom. I remember she had books and books and theories about what happened, but nobody really knew the truth. One day, one day death was knocking on the front door. The next day was knocking on the back door. I get out of the house like it was trying to leave. To get out of the house, knocking on the back door to get. Oh, one day death was knocking on the front door. The next day it was knocking on the back door to get out of the house like it was trying to leave. I think I screwed up this analogy, but you get the point. It was bad, and then something happened, and things were back to normal. Something. Was it the event? I don't know the difference, but sure, if that makes you happy. It does. It really does. I could have been. It could have been the event that helped almost destroy the Outlands. That doesn't sound great, but sure. You know, if you're really looking into that stuff, I'd try to find Bloodhound. Our parents worked together on some secret IMC project that I think had something to do with the event a long time ago. Ma loves bringing up how the IMC was more obsessed with secret stuff. This continues. Ma loves bringing up how how the IMC was more obsessed with secret stuff than I am with my hair. She also loves bringing up how she was friends with Bloodhound's mom every time that Hunter kicks my butt. You know, I was friends with their mom. She's one funny lady. Anyways. That was a quote. You know, I was always friends with their mom. She's one funny lady. Anyways, we were both pretty young at the time, so I don't remember much. But I'm sure they know a thing or two about about what our moms were working on, since the project was not only on Talos, but where Bloodhound grew up, but it was also the project that, cost them the price. I mean, they lost the price. I mean, uh, their parents died. Sorry, I didn't know how to really say that, and last time I brought it up to Bloodhound, they didn't really like talking about it. But you've got a way of getting everyone to open up, so I'm sure you'll be fine. Let's just hope you don't have to talk to Caustic. I'd hate to hear about the skeletons in his closet. Ugh. I agree. You're right. That's going to be a sad conversation with Bloodhound. But that's okay, because I like talking to my friends. This has been very helpful. Thanks so much. Yeah, don't mention it. Seriously though, try to keep some stuff I told you between us, if you don't mind. Like a special friendship secret? Yeah, sure. I just got a reputation to keep up. And I don't need everyone getting all up in my... I like who I am now. I like you too, best friend. Thanks. And good luck, buddy. Buddy? I mean, Pathfinder. Just get out of here, you crazy tin can. And that is where the transcript ends. And brings us to the final remarks of our chapter. So we have two more pictures. We got, oh damn, you can't really see that at all. Here, we got this picture of Elliot and his mom. And then we got this picture of him and Pathfinder taking a selfie. Classic selfie. Anyways, let's finish this one up. Almost done. So, data points received. Mirage. Why does that look so like that? Okay. Anyways, data points received. Mirage, aka Elliot Witt, is still my best friend. Cuban Blisk's last Thunderdome match was in 27-10. Interesting. Evelyn Witt is Mirage's mom. She's the smartest person he knows and one of the best hollow engineers in the entire frontier. Richard Witt is Mirage's dad. He wasn't around much. Excuse me. The Outland Civil War began around 2716 after the IMC pulled all authority from the Outlands. Roger Witt, Elon Witt, and Ricky Witt went MIA during the Civil War after their dropship was attacked somewhere near Gaia, leaving Evelyn Witt and Elliot Witt alone. On Solace. Why am I burping? That's weird. An energy crisis occurred in 2655. A woman named Peck believed the Outlands had 10 years left to find a solution before the point of no return. Oh, okay. I was reading the dates, and I thought, anyways, something happened that stabilized the energy resources of the Outlands. This something is the event from the message. Bloodhound may have more information because their parents were working on a secret project related to the event. Bloodhound parents were knew Mirage's mom. They worked together in the past. Mirage called me buddy, and I like that. And that is the end of chapter 6. And of course, the next chapter is going to feature Bloodhound, my main and Apex legend and my favorite character. So, that is something to look forward to. That is also going to bring us to the end of this episode. So, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this episode, please check out some of my other chapters that I released earlier, a lot earlier. It's been a while since I uploaded one of these. But if you did like it, please show your support. Tell me to make some more. I hope I will make more. I hope I do remember to. And if I don't, you gotta remind me. So, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Oh, that's how I end it. Boom. End stream. Bye-bye.